Hello and welcome to sim.bc where it is 8:47. That's correct. So it's just quarter-ish to 9 in the morning. And my god, what a recalculation I have to do in my head. Like my body is so not agreeing with me. Yesterday I went up at like 1 1:30 in the afternoon, and today I tried to go up 7:30, and my body was just like, dude, it's such a difference. Do you understand the time delay here? Do you understand what I have to deal with? And I was like, yeah, I do, but I kind of don't care, mate. Just go up, please. Be a nice buddy and just do as I tell you. I went to sleep 8 hours before this. It's your own fault that you didn't fall asleep when I went to sleep. Oh, yeah. Nightmare situation, nightmare situation. And yet again, I have so many things to do today. Self-inflicted though, so I can deflect them, so to say, without actually getting any real backlashes or any real consequences, or at least most of them, due to except for my own consequences that I will yet again inflict upon myself, and that sounds like I'm gonna hit myself. That's not what I mean. It's just that when I'm planning stuff and not doing them, I feel kind of bad. So that's what I meant with self-inflicting non-feedback, whatever, of the situation. But today I'm going to go to the gym, as you can see by my stained uh, workout work outfit, my workout clothes, and after that I will try to wash something, or at least, maybe I will try to do it at the same time. Efficiency. So I'm trying to wash some clothes as well. Then go for a bit of a clean of the entire apartment yet again. It's that time of the week, so to say. I need to do that. That time of the month, rather, is more describable of what actually is, how it's actually like. And then after that, I'm going to try to hit to school. I'm going to try to fix that and buy some food on the way. So it doesn't sound as much, but I have like a 3 hour window or a 4 hour window to do that in. And working out will take at least like 2 or 3, due to me traveling there, actually working out, getting back home, taking a shower, try to eat something. It takes a while. So we'll see how it all ends up. Hopefully, it's all going to go well. Anyway, today we're going to talk about something that I think is kind of a nightmare-ish scenario, and not a scenario because it's actually happening, but kind of a nightmare-ish thing. Well, actually, the implication could be the nightmare scenario. Anyway, to let you in on what I'm thinking is that a lot of today's GDP, well, first of all, it's made up. Not made up, strictly made up, but banks are making money up when they're giving a loan, and then you're repaying the loan, and they're having interest on it, and that interest is essentially creating money. And the money pyramid, if you give the bank like €1, they can duplicate it as many times as they want in the money system. I will try to have a pyramid right here, the money pyramid. And now I know some people will say that, oh, that's outdated and that doesn't work anymore, but yes, actually kind of does. I mean, the Bank of England or the Bank of London or whatever it's called, same as with the Swedish Central Bank, don't have any requirements, as far as I know at least, of any reserves that they need to have as a government standard. I think that was taken away in the 90s or in 2005 or something like that. Anyway, this is something I've read, by the way, in our course literature back home, so I could remember this all wrong, so just keep that in mind. But I think I'm correct, and that is that a lot of money can just be made up of banks, and they can duplicate this however many times that they want to, and then the central bank will react to this by printing more money if the system looks like it's failing, in order to increase the I'm just trying to make a pi sign in microeconomy. It might not even be a universal sign for that thing. It's called, when you're printing more money, they become like they're worth less. That's called inflation. That's right. So the central bank trying to pump out money in order to make inflation, so that the money that's not worth as much. And yada yada yada. But it's not only that. It's not only banks creating money, but also what this money is meant for and used for. Because in the same sense that a lot of GDP and a lot of value and a lot of money is just made up, so is lots of, well, I wouldn't say made up because they're not, but so are a lot of services today. And what I'm focusing on are like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of that. And as you can see, I'm on YouTube and I'm sitting it right here, and I'm really trying to do a video and upload it to YouTube, to the platform, which is in turn owned by Google, the huge search engine company. So, or search engine company. I'm sure they're doing more than that, but I can't think of anything else on the top of my head except for the self-driving car. But I think that's in progress, and the phone. But I think that was like super expensive. Anyway, I'm really trying to make something physical here and upload it. So why am I saying that it's made up? Well, because lots of GDP today is moved into these companies, and like Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and YouTube, and they are like mostly, at least as far as I know and as far as I'm concerned, with as I'm interacting with the different platforms, they are mainly internet based. And that might sound like a weird thing to say that, oh, it's internet based and it's made up, but well, it's not made up because you can access it, sure. But if the internet were to fail, where would all this value go? And I know that that's a nightmarish scenario, and we're coming back to the introduction here where I'm thinking like if the internet were to fail, that would be a nightmarish scenario. And I firmly believe that if the internet failed today, since we're so dependent on it, there would be a lot worse things happening than some of the GDP disappearing. But I'm talking about there's so much of the GDP that is in the world GDP that's based on internet services. Now, I don't have a figure here, just my feeling of the market, you know. And yeah, that's a really good way of looking at something. No, but you should definitely do your own research about this. But I'm just pointing in the right direction, I think, or uh, establishing a hypothesis or something. But this is something that struck me the other week, that this is actually happening. That so much money is invested in companies, like in shares of companies uh, that are mainly internet based. What would happen if the internet just went away overnight? It's quite an interesting idea. I mean, more than the obvious Armageddon apocalypse. Not obvious, but I think that many people would be very furious and very, what you would say, disconnected, discluded, dislocated, if very lost, really, if the internet were to disappear. But as I said as well, a lot of the GDP would probably go missing because they will be revalued, and lots of shares wouldn't be worth as much as they once were, and it would be exactly the same thing as the house bubble of 2007 2008, the economic crisis, where the subprime loans in the US failed, and the different banks had to close down because they were stuck with houses that wasn't worth like nearly as much as they said they were, and they had loaned out more money than they could get back, and so on and so forth. And that was probably just one of the different parameters playing out in that crisis. We also had that was built up since the 2000s with the dot-com bubble, that it kind of moved over into the financial crisis of 08, 07, 08. But we had the same idea here, that instead of being left with houses that are not worth equally as much as the market thinks they're worth, and being uh, left with shares, in this case, of companies that are no longer worth as much as they once were. They're losing like half of their value, like 75% of their value overnight. Because if you think about it, if you think about Snapchat, for instance, I think they made their IPO and they're now a million or billion-dollar company. Uh, just think about that for a second. That's a lot of money in the internet. Like, I know I'm saying in the internet a lot here, and I know it sounds like I'm talking about the internet like it's a bad thing. It's not. The internet is a really good thing. I love the internet. For God's sake, I'm uploading a video to YouTube on the internet in order to reach people all over the world, and for and it's a bit of a diary and stuff for me too. but still, it's it's weird, isn't it? That so much money can be pumped into something that kind of exists but kind of doesn't exist. This service that isn't actually physical and can't be provided to you in any other way if this source would disappear. And I know that you can say the same thing about cars, that you can make the same idea that, oh well, what if we don't have any petrol left? Well, then there are alternative power sources. What if we don't have any, I don't know, living space left? Well, then we can build higher buildings. But what if the internet disappeared? I can't think of a substitute at the moment that could like fit into this into this what you say, into this industry. I don't know anything that can substitute the internet. And I know that might sound naive and crazy and Armageddon like, but I just can't come up with anything that would like change, like substitute the internet. You know, except for if you think about it in another context, then might be like going outside and enjoying different services might be a substitute to the internet. But substituting internet as a whole, like a direct substitution, would be, I can't find any at the top of my head, and I've done some research about that particular topic, and I couldn't find any. So it's kind of interesting, wouldn't you say? But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow, mates, when I'm trying to go to Toulouse. Maybe we'll see how that all works out. Gonna consult me mate today and see what he thinks. Anyway, guys, as I said, see you tomorrow. Bye.